Hello, everyone. I'm Eric D'Souza, and joining me today is Carole, who publishes under her Irish name, which I've practiced and I hope I get right, C.S. Okinada. Carole's story, Cool Customer, appears on Cold Canadian Crime Anthology, published by Crime Writers of Canada. Now, I don't often read verbatim from my guests' website for their bio, but I couldn't resist in your case, Carole. So her writing has been described as dark humor done well by Publishers Weekly and bloody frightening by her mother. She's an Edgar-nominated author for her novel, Starr Sign, and never misses an opportunity to sneak that into a sentence. So I thought we would mention it right at the beginning. I know the ceremony was just in April in New York, and you were going to go down to attend them live. So what was that like, Carole?
Pretty incredible. I met people who sell way more books than me. And in multiple languages, so it was really, really cool. I met Carolyn Jess Cook, who just wrote The Lighthouse Witches, who was also nominated, and I met Cosby, who wrote Razorblade Tears. I don't know whether you've read that one, but an incredible book. So some real titans, and it was a huge, it was a real fancy event. So I felt really, really special. So even though I lost, everybody at my table except one guy lost. So I didn't feel so badly.
I guess the obvious question is, what was it like being around so many people after like 2 years of not being around people?
Well, it was very different in New York. It's for the Americans, it's been over for a while. So we were baptism by fire at Times Square the very first night, and people are everywhere, and no one's wearing a mask, and it was kind of strange. But then you kind of just got used to it again, and because they were all relaxed with it, I think, because they to events and doing things for quite some time. So we did, however, we had really cool Mystery Writers of America Edgar's masks that we could use when we went out walking to the bathroom or something, and they had Edgar Allan Poe on them and stuff. So that was kind of cool. But
it's a fun and a good memento.
Yeah, but things were very, very different there, and they've been that way for a long time. So it was kind of, and then things started to loosen up here, and I've been doing live events ever since. I was at the Motive Festival down at Harbourfront for Toronto International Authors. I was at Word on the Street and talking with people, so it's been really, really nice to connect with readers again. I love it.
Yeah, you've been busy. That's great. This is I believe your second book in this series for the Candace Starr series, and regardless of its success, you seem to be trying something different. So I saw your next book looks like a standalone, Eve's Rib. What could you tell us about that, which I know is on pre-sale?
Yes, Eve's Rib is, well, it's almost a throwback to my first novel was Petra's Ghost, which was a kind of a gothic story set on the Camino de Santiago pilgrimage in Spain. So this is sort of like a modern day gothic as well. Definitely a noir, a domestic noir, a domestic thriller, I guess it's being billed as. And that seems to be my sweet spot sometimes. But it's told from three different perspectives: the mom, the dad, teenage, or not, devil incarnate. Which, if you've ever had teenage daughters, sometimes it's very hard to tell. So that's kind of where it's at, and it's quite dark in places, but lots of twists and lots of family stuff, and some of the, quite frankly, the best writing I've ever done. So I'm really feeling very excited about it. The Candace Starr series was born out of me getting frustrated. Someone said that my first novel, my debut novel, was not commercial enough. So I decided I was going to write, I'll show them bloody commercial. So I wrote this series about a 6'3" hitwoman who kicks butt, and it was a lot of fun. And it's just it's just on the other side of the library. We can all enjoy different kinds of books. But I like to read different kinds of books, and I like to write them, right? So
Fun. Well, and then something completely different, or not completely different, but different was your short story that you wrote for Cold Canadian Crime. Sort of a fun mother-daughter adventure, if you want to call it that, in a noir vein. How would you describe it?
Well, once again, it's dark humor, right? I don't think I've written a book that doesn't have, well, first of all, people who die in it. And second of all, people who laugh in it or make you laugh. And so I like to take these incredibly, often very dark situations, but put this kind of levity into them. And so I really had a lot of fun with that story, which for our audience is basically about a mother-daughter team that's having to get rid of the body of the daughter's husband, who she has murdered with her stiletto shoe. So, and it's a fun thing, and it's set in Elora, Ontario, where I used to live. In the a time, and everybody, including me, worked in the tech triangle there in Kitchener and Waterloo. So she's the wife of one of these software execs, and trouble ensues. So that's where that story came from. But I think it's always, I like that dark and that light. It's really nice for readers because I do write dark subjects. And if that's all you did, by the time you finish the book, you feel like someone hit you with a brick, Yes. So if you throw in the light stuff, you give the reader a break, right?
Yes. So. Yeah. And it's on the short side, I think, too. They must have had a top end and a minimum, and you decide to go for the minimum.
That's true.
But at the same time, it says a lot because there's a lot about the relationship between the mom and the daughter, and it sticks with you, which is something you always want a short story to do. Well, let's talk about your website, because it's a little hard to find because you can't look up you and find it quite easily. It's shekillslit.com.
Yeah, with CSO Canada. Yeah. Well, if you search for my name, She Kills Lit does come up, but you're right. It doesn't say that here lies CSO Canada's website. You're absolutely right. I started the blog aspect of that site before I even had my first book published. Mm-hmm. And it was, I wanted to have a web presence because we're supposed to do that as authors, but I didn't want it to be an artificial thing. I wanted to be, something that I really enjoyed and I would do whether I was publishing books or not. So I came up with the idea of reviewing, thriller and noir that were written by women, because, we have a lot of women in mystery and stuff like that. I can't exactly cry foul there right now, but thriller and noir, there were not as many women's voices. And so I was particularly interested in the women who wrote those sorts of that subgenre. And so I've not only got to review their books, the fun part is I've gotten to interview them, and people like Denise Mina, who is like the queen of tartan noir, man. I almost died. And when I got to interview her, and oh gosh, now it's escaping me. Well, CJ Cook.
CJ Cook, yeah.
And Elle Wild, who is a Canadian, as well as Rachel Greenaway, a couple of really good, great crime writers here in Canada.
BC writers.
Yes. So, and that's been, I've just enjoyed that so much. So that's how the kind of blog aspect started of it, and trying to, and then I decided to, when I was bored, to put some true crime in there that women committed. And unfortunately, there's a lot of sick stuff on the internet. I try to stay away from them. I think the one that is the most popular to this day was that woman in southwestern Ontario that murdered her husband, Mrs. Oh, it used to be a children's rhyme. This is terrible. Oh, I'm going to have to look it up later. What time is it, Mrs. Somebody? It's not Mrs. Wolf. Oh, God, help me. Anyway, that one ended up on Reddit and everybody was all over it. I'm going to have to look it up and tell you later.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember it. I was on your website, but I didn't see that one. But you did have some other great Canadian writers too. S.M. Friedman, Melissa Yee. There's quite a few there, so I enjoy the Canadian aspect of it. So thank you very much for spotlighting these great writers. I guess that's probably it for us. once again, Carole, thank you for agreeing to do this interview. And please, everyone out watching, pick up a copy of Cold Canadian Crime. It's a fun romp of talking feminine male writers. I think there's only one or two men in it, but
Yes, it was a little skewed that way, but I'm telling you, some amazing writers, whatever the gender. I know a lot of these ladies personally, and they are the bomb. And as are the men who are in that list as well. So I haven't even got through all the stories in there yet, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying them too. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for watching.
All right. Thank you. Bye.